Hi everyone, I'm Len Davis and I've been asked by Ricky to put together a little video for all of you who want to be MCs. Now bear in mind, MC standing for Master of Ceremonies traditionally is actually one of the most important people of any wrestling show, no matter how big, no matter how small, because he is the one that will glue the whole thing together. You may have the best matches on the card, you may have the most amazing set, the most amazing entrance, but unless you've got somebody that's actually the host in a way of the whole evening, then it gets a little bit less involved for the crowd. So the most important part of any MC is, firstly, you have to be well presented. So ideally in a suit with a bow tie, or if not a bow tie, just a good presented tie, but obviously something which Ricky is working for in his standard, because I know, for example, his referees wear bow ties. He doesn't do the traditional striped shirt thing. So with his MCs, he wants his MCs to be properly presented, and I got a feeling the bow tie may well be a part of that as well. The key as well is to be loud and present in your voice, not commanding, not bossy, but friendly, enticing, and definitely drawing the audience into the evening. So it's not just a case of being, here comes so-and-so and there goes so-and-so, because they could do that purely and simply by playing a recording. But the audience need to be engaged. From the very first moment they start walking in the door, the MC should be welcoming them, letting them know who's on the card, letting them know that Jack Swagger is in the building and all that sort of stuff, and making it dominant, making a mark, letting know what's on the merchandise table, what the special offers are, boosting the raffle tickets, and make sometimes it's good to actually take the microphone up to the merchandise table and speak to the merchandise people, get them to tell you what the latest DVDs are on sale, the latest t-shirts, and it's all part and parcel of the whole thing. You give them a build up to the show itself. So before we start the actual show, the crowd feel that they're in a welcoming environment. That's really important. So basically, whoever you are, it's being personable, and that's the key. So when the show then is due to start, make it a big countdown, We'll be starting in 5 minutes, and literally let the crowd get a chance to get their drinks in. If they're still at the merchandise table, let them get what they want to get. Don't force them to suddenly leave. Let them get to their seats, let them get comfortable, and start with a big countdown. As you know, when Zach takes the mic, he does a huge 10, 9, 8 countdown. If Zach or anybody else from the Knight family is not there to do that, then just take it over. Do the 10, 9, 8 countdown. Get the crowd involved. The moment you get into the ring after you've started, get them wound up, get them literally as loud as you can get them in whichever way you can. Usually the way to do it is you can say, so who's the loudest side? And you get them to do left, right, and so on. And then you'll find out who is the loudest part of the crowd. But at the same time, that builds up a little bit of competition between them. But when you then do them all together, you should get a really good crowd. So when the show starts itself, when it comes to the first match, the one thing that I sometimes forget when I'm emceeing for WAW is to bring the referee out first. So you should have done your homework backstage, so you know exactly what the card is. If there may well be wrestlers that you've never dealt with before, so you need to get all the information from them, exactly where they're from, what their weight is. I mean, personally, I do the weight in pounds. I don't know why that's a preference. Some people do it in stones, but I think pounds just sounds more sort of international. It's an American thing as well. We don't have to worry about kilos, obviously, but it's an American and British thing doing it in pounds. It sort of works out quite well. Then once you've got all their information, where they're from, what their nickname is, that's quite important. The first match, the introduction should be something along the lines of, ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall, and you know the audience is going to react to the one fall bit. They always do. Unless, of course, it's a rounds match, but we'll come to that in a moment. And then you don't always get a timing for it. So I tend to use 20 minutes as a standard, and then like 30 minutes for a main event, unless there's something major. So it'll be the following contest is scheduled for one fall over a 20-minute time period. Introducing first. and then the first music will play. Then when you see the wrestler come to the stage, because there may be a bit of a gap with the music before the wrestler enters, the moment you see the wrestler start coming out, just say, making his way to the ring, weighing 225 pounds, hailing from wherever they hail from, he is the, whatever the nickname is, and then the name long and loud. For example, Jack Swagger. Make it big, make it loud. You've got to beat above the music. So make sure that when you say it, you're saying it totally loud. Let them get into the ring. When they get into the ring and the music fades, and his opponent is pretty much all you need to say. I'm not a huge fan of the change the music thing. That's a bit old school. I'm not saying it's wrong, but for me, I like to keep it sort of simple. And his opponent literally is the only 3 words you need to say. The same deal whenever the opponent makes his way to the stage and starts walking down, then you give the announcement for the opponent, and then you leave the ring. While the opponent's getting his way into the ring, you leave. You get down to your position with the bell, and literally the moment the referee points at you, then you just sound the bell, and you are then sitting at ringside looking like an official. This is the important part, because the referee will point at you when it's a near fall, when it's a 2 count. He will point at you, and you need to be reacting as if you are an official, and that's what you're looking for. Now, I know Ricky likes the 2 count to be announced, so that's absolutely fine. Whenever you see the referee point at you and give a 2 count from a near fall, then you say 2 count. And then from there, when the winning fall is done, if you haven't been timing the matches, it's not important to say in 4 minutes and 50 seconds or whatever. It's not important in a non-round match. So you just say, ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, whoever it is. Let them leave, give them a couple of accolades, a final accolade once they're on the stage. And if their opponent has been a popular person as well, then, say, and ladies and gentlemen, the loser, whatever, the name of that person too. So after that, when both of them have left, you go back into the ring, and then you gee the crowd up a little bit more. Wasn't that a great match, ladies and gentlemen? Are you ready for some more wrestling? And just let them wind up, and then without dragging on too long, unless you have notices to give, for example, birthdays or anything like that, which usually are probably better done after the intermission. Then you go into the second match. So it'll be the same procedure. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for 1 fall and so on. Unless, of course, we're then going into an old school match. Now, here we go. The following contest is scheduled for the best of 3 falls over, for example, 6 3-minute rounds. So then the introductions are the same as normal. But when you come back to the table, this time you need a stopwatch, either a stopwatch or the stopwatch on your phone, because you are going to be timing the 3-minute rounds, and that's important. And because we have no seconds coming out to ring, you do not say seconds away, round 2, because that was in the old days when the seconds who were giving the competitors water would be required to clear the ring before the bell rang. We don't do that now. So literally it is simply round 2. Ring the bell. So keep account of the timings, and when a pinfall happens or a submission happens or whatever it is, stop the timer, don't reset it, and then give that time in 1 minute 47 seconds of round 3, and announce it to say the first pinfall to whoever. Yeah. So in that situation, you've got the best of 3 to do. So it may well be the first pinfall, and the equalizing fall or equalizing submission, and then finally the winner. So in that situation, you've got 3 spots where you'll be giving the timings out where in the round it happened. And of course, after that victory, that round is over. So when you start again, you'll start with round 3 or round 4 or whatever, and start the 3 minutes fresh. That's the old school way. And I mean, it can be 6 3-minute rounds. It can be 10 3-minute rounds. It can do whatever is desired by the company. But bear in mind, it is the old school way, and it has to be done true to form. Apart from that, make sure that the audience are always kept involved, okay? If that requires you to make a little fool of yourself sometimes, go for it. Just don't be too embarrassing, obviously, but one of the best, as we know, is Terry Gauchi. I mean, Terry has the pantomime background, the comedian background. He's got a long career in the entertainment industry doing this very thing. So basically, he can engage a crowd magnificently. And if you're that sort of person and you can get away with that, wonderful. But I'm not that sort of person. I'm not a pantomime dame type. I can't do it as well, or half as well as Terry can. So I tend to go for the more official thing. But at the same time, I don't mind making a fool of myself if the need arises. It all depends on what you're trying to achieve by the show, how big the show is, how small the show is. If you know some of the audience, you can play up on that as well. You can actually say, wow, you're looking great tonight, stuff like that, you know? If you want to get personal, feel free. Don't get too personal, obviously, but basically keep them engaged. When it comes to the intermission, if it's a 15-minute break, you're pushing the raffle tickets, you're pushing the merchandise, you're pushing upcoming shows. It's always about the website where they can buy tickets, literally anything and everything. You don't have a break in the interval. You are pushing everybody as best they can. So while they're getting their drinks, you got into the merchandise table. You literally let them know what shows are coming up, that they can buy tickets from Michael Mann if he's there, for example. There's all sorts of ways around it. And at the end of the show, once the show is over, always wish the crowd a safe journey home and we'll see you next time, and the usual sort of sign off, but leave them feeling good, feeling happy. Should anything untoward happen throughout the course of the show, for example, if the ring breaks or something happens with the ring, then it's your job to just keep it going in the best way you can. And that might just be a case of, while they're fixing the ring, letting them know about shows that are coming up or about the latest magazines or whatever. Just keep your head fresh, keep in the game. And if there's anybody with birthdays or anniversaries, make sure you got all of that stuff written down. Most important thing is about the MC, you are essentially, as I said, the glue that holds the show together. You need to be personable. You need to be presentable. You are representing WAW, and that's the most important part. You are the person that Ricky and Julia and Zach and Roy have chosen to put in front of the audience to be the person that represents them. So that's a major step, and that's something you should be really proud of. So in that situation, I'm not going to keep talking on now. The basics are there. But basically, just remember, be well presented, be clear and concise in the way you talk. And you can practice that easily in your phones these days. Just put on your memo recorder, practice it at home, listen back. If you want to, then when next time you see, I don't know, Ricky or somebody, just say, Ricky, does this sound okay to you? And let him listen to what you've done. He'll give you honest criticism about whether he likes it or not. So in order to wrap this up, be well presented, be clear, be concise, and be personable. Be one with the audience. Connect with them on a level. You've seen that on TV. You've seen it in theaters. You've seen it on radio, or at least heard it on radio. But the point is, the person connects with the audience. And when you do that, you leave a memory which will augment the whole evening. So, as I said, when it comes to any career, you have to practice. And with the beauty of today's technology, you can do it on your phone, in the memos, you can do it literally on your PC, you can do it anywhere that you feel that you just want to practice. So just practice announcing, practice talking. Imagine yourself as a TV host or a radio DJ. And if you need more research, just go onto YouTube and just look for TV hosts, look for wrestling MCs. Look for mixed martial arts MCs. I mean, one of the best guys that I know is Neil Pickup. He's a guy I worked with on the arm wrestling. His mixed martial arts voice is amazing. So you can pick up with these sort of people. James Biggs is another one. He's done ring announcing for TNA, and his voice is very deep, very rich. So, I mean, your voice can be improved. It can be adjusted in the same way as you can learn to speak. If for any reason you're stumbling or stuttering or whatever, you can learn to announce, and you can learn to be a top MC. I wish you all the best of luck, and I'll just add to this, you know where I am on Facebook and all that stuff. If you got any questions or whatever, feel free to drop me a message, okay? And I wish you all the very, very best. Talk to you soon. Bye.